Welcome to Honeybee, real stories of love, lies, and betrayal, where every truth stings. Let's begin. I never imagined that bringing up a prenup would destroy a 2.5-year relationship and an 8-month engagement. But that's exactly what happened when my fiancée said she found the idea offensive. My name is Tyler, and this is a story of how one conversation about protecting my business turned into the moment I realized the woman I was going to marry believed she was already entitled to everything I had worked for. It all started years ago at a friend's engagement party. I was 26 at the time, working in real estate development, and had just closed on my second rental property. My newly engaged friend introduced me to Amanda, a friend from nursing school, a beautiful, driven 24-year-old who had just earned her nurse practitioner certification. Amanda and I connected instantly. She loved her work, stayed active, and had this contagious excitement about travel and adventure. We spent the entire night talking about the places we wanted to see and our long-term goals. She seemed genuinely curious about my real estate work, asking smart questions about investments and the housing market. We started dating that spring. From the start, I felt Amanda was different from the other women I had dated. She showed real interest in my business, asked for updates on my projects, and celebrated my milestones with authentic enthusiasm. When I bought my third rental property that summer, she insisted on taking me out to dinner to celebrate. By our second year together, Amanda moved into my downtown condo. Life felt good, stable, supportive, and full of plans for the future. She worked long hospital shifts while I focused on expanding my real estate portfolio and development company. During this time, my side hustle of flipping rentals had grown into a real company. Fast forward a few years, I owned 8 rental properties and had completed 3 successful small development projects. My business partner Mitchell and I were bringing in several $100,000 a year, and my personal net worth had grown far beyond what I ever expected. Amanda seemed proud of my success. She would tell her friends about my projects, post before and after renovation photos on social media, and brag about what we were building together. Her family was equally impressed. Her dad, who worked in construction, appreciated the complexity of my work. Her mom would joke at family gatherings that Amanda had landed a real catch. By 29, I was ready for marriage. After 2.5 years together, with Amanda dropping in for months, I proposed during a weekend getaway. She said yes instantly. The rest of that weekend was spent planning our future wedding. Within weeks, we set a $35,000 budget for a country club reception, sent save the dates to over 100 guests, and threw ourselves into wedding planning. I had no idea that asking for a simple legal document would soon make me question everything I thought I knew about Amanda and her family. Amanda threw herself into wedding planning with her usual energy, making Pinterest boards and spreadsheets for everything from music to centerpieces. The venue needed an $8,000 deposit, which I paid right away. The photographer and caterer required upfront payments too, all of which I covered without hesitation. My parents and Amanda's parents chipped in, but I was covering most of the costs, and I was fine with that. I was earning far more than Amanda, and I wanted our wedding to be special. But over time, I noticed Amanda's spending habits changing. She started making big purchases without asking me. A $2,000 dress upgrade, $800 bridesmaid gifts, a $1,500 bridal shower at a luxury restaurant. When I gently brought up the cost, she brushed it off, saying, "It's our wedding. We can afford it." Her language started to shift too. She began referring to my business and properties as ours when talking to friends. At her brother's birthday party, I overheard her talking about our development projects and plans to expand into commercial real estate. They weren't outright lies, but they hinted at an ownership claim that made me uncomfortable. Her family's behavior also shifted. Her dad, who had always been respectful of my work, started giving me unsolicited business advice. Her mom would make casual comments like, "Amanda deserves nice things. You two are doing so well." It was meant to be playful, but it carried an assumption that my financial success automatically belonged to Amanda, and by extension, her family. I tried to brush it off as pre-wedding stress. But then, a few months before the wedding, Mitchell brought up something I'd been trying to ignore. While reviewing profits, he mentioned his recent divorce, which cost him half his construction business and 2 rental properties. and suggested I get a prenup. At first, I brushed it off. Amanda wasn't like Mitchell's ex. She had supported me from day one, but his warning planted a seed. Over the next few weeks, I paid closer attention to how Amanda talked about money. She'd casually discuss how we would invest profits from future sales, or how our next property should be bigger. When I reminded her the business was co-owned by Mitchell and me, she'd just laugh and say, "That'll change once we're married." It hit me then. Amanda saw our marriage as an automatic claim to half of everything I had built before I even met her. Legally, she wasn't wrong. In our state, most assets gained during marriage become marital property. But her attitude made me uneasy. I met with an attorney who specialized in family law. She explained that without a prenup, Amanda would likely be entitled to half of any growth or appreciation my business had during the marriage, even if she didn't contribute to it. The attorney shared case studies of business owners who lost huge portions of their companies in divorce, even when their spouses had little involvement. She wasn't trying to scare me, just helping me understand why prenups exist. We drafted an agreement that protected my pre-marriage assets, but allowed Amanda and me to share anything we built together after the wedding. It even included generous spousal support provisions, so she'd be financially secure if things didn't work out. One evening, I brought it up with Amanda. I explained it was a standard step for business owners and had nothing to do with love or trust. Amanda was surprised but calm. She asked questions about what it covered and requested time to think. I encouraged her to talk to her own lawyer and gave her 2 weeks. But those 2 weeks changed everything. Amanda spoke with her family, and according to her, they were outraged. Her dad said it proved I didn't trust Amanda. Her mom called an insult to their family. When Amanda and I spoke again, she had clearly been influenced by them. She began to see the prenup as proof I was planning for our marriage to fail. 2 months before the wedding, Amanda started showing open resentment. She makes sarcastic comments about my precious business and refer my properties as yours, not ours. Finally, I asked her directly for a decision. She told me she wouldn't sign it. She called it offensive and said that asking her to sign meant I didn't trust her. I tried to explain this was about protecting what I'd built, not predicting divorce. But she accused me of caring more about money than our relationship. That night, Amanda slept in the guest room. I lay awake, realizing this wasn't just about a document. This was about completely different values. By morning, I knew what I had to do. If Amanda couldn't respect my need to protect my pre-marriage assets, she wasn't the right person to build a future with. After she left for work, I started canceling the wedding. I lost thousands in deposits, but it felt like a worthwhile price to avoid a lifetime of resentment and conflict. By lunchtime, I had posted a public announcement on Facebook, citing fundamental differences in values. I tagged Amanda so she'd see it. She called me during her lunch break, furious and humiliated. She accused me of embarrassing her in front of everyone we knew. I calmly told her there was nothing left to discuss. Her refusal to sign was her decision, and canceling the wedding was mine. The next morning, Amanda's dad came to my house. At first, he seemed calm and understanding, asking me to explain my side. But slowly, the conversation turned into a guilt trip. He brought up their family's excitement, their travel plans, and how people would think I didn't trust Amanda. I nodded and let him talk, pretending to agree just to end the conversation. When he left, I felt more certain than ever that I'd done the right thing. A few days later, Amanda and I met for coffee. She apologized for her reaction, but said she still wouldn't sign. She offered compromises, a smaller wedding, more time, but still didn't understand why the prenup mattered. That was the final confirmation I needed. I told her the engagement was permanently over. Over the next week, Amanda moved out and returned the ring. The breakup felt anticlimactic, but it also brought me peace. 3 months later, I can see clearly what the prenup really represented. Not distrust, but protection. It revealed that Amanda saw my success as something she was entitled to, not something I had earned. I also learned how to recognize manipulation disguised as love. If I had caved, I have spent years fighting against a family who saw my financial boundaries as attacks on their character. Amanda and I were compatible in many ways, but we were not financially aligned. And financial compatibility is crucial in marriage. The prenup wasn't the problem. It was the answer. It showed me that love alone isn't enough if two people fundamentally disagree about money and responsibility. Today, I'm focused on growing my business and finding someone who understands that protecting what you built isn't a sign of distrust. It's a sign of wisdom. The right partner won't guilt you into ignoring what you know is necessary to protect your future. Sometimes the best investment you can make is standing firm on your principles, even if it costs you a relationship, a wedding, and a little money. Because in the long run, it saves you far more than it costs.